My wife told me she was pregnant, and I smiled, but inside, I was drowning in panic, because I knew one thing she didn't. I'm sterile. This is the story of how I discovered the truth, uncovered betrayal, and learned that the biggest lie of all was the one I told myself. Liam came home earlier than usual. He had left work with a migraine, hoping to nap before dinner, but as he stepped into the bathroom to wash his face, something in the trash bin caught his eye. At first, he thought it was just packaging, but then he saw it, a white plastic stick, 2 faint pink lines staring back at him. Pregnancy test. Positive. He froze. His heart started pounding in his chest. There was no explanation, no reason this should be happening, because Liam knew one thing for sure, a truth he had carried with silent shame for years. He was sterile. 3 years ago, after a biking accident crushed his pelvis, the doctors told him he could never have children. It was confirmed by multiple tests. Not a maybe, a certainty. He never told anyone, not even his wife, not even Emma, not because he didn't trust her, but because deep down he was scared. Scared she would leave. Scared she'd see him as less of a man. So he kept it buried. And now that buried secret had claws. He stood over the sink, staring at his reflection. The nausea wasn't from the migraine anymore. His head spun. Just then, the front door opened. He heard her voice. Emma's cheerful hum as she kicked off her shoes. She walked into the kitchen, calling out, "Babe, you're home early." He quickly splashed water on his face and forced a breath. His mind raced, but his mouth had to lie. "Yeah, just a headache," he said, stepping into the hallway. Emma smiled, her face glowing with an emotion he couldn't yet place. Then she said it, the words that sent a spike of ice through his veins. "I have something to tell you," she said, gently holding his hands. I'm pregnant." Liam blinked, smiled weakly, froze in place. He nodded like he was happy, but inside, he felt the floor crack beneath him, and as she hugged him tightly, whispering, "We're going to be parents." All Liam could think was, "Whose child is this?" Emma placed Liam's hands on her stomach, though there was no bump yet. "Just hope, just lies. I know it's early," she said, eyes glistening, "but I can feel it. This is going to be everything we dreamed of." Liam nodded slowly. He could hear his heart pounding louder than her voice. He tried to smile. He even kissed her forehead, but his mind was burning. Dreamed of? Whose dream was this? Emma sat him down on the couch, practically glowing. "I haven't told anyone yet," she whispered. "Not even my mom. You're the first." Liam swallowed hard. He could barely process her words. She went on, excited. "I think it happened last month, remember? That weekend we went hiking and you made pancakes with strawberries." That night she laughed. Liam's blood ran cold. He remembered that weekend, and he remembered one very specific detail. They hadn't even had sex. Emma had been on her period. They had slept in separate sleeping bags. She had complained of cramps and didn't want to be touched. So what was she talking about? "Yeah, I remember," he said quietly. Forcing a nod, his voice sounded like it belonged to someone else. Emma kept talking about baby names, about how they should convert the guest room, about how Daniel, Liam's best friend, would be godfather because he's like family. That name again. Daniel. Something in Liam's chest shifted. He didn't know why, but the moment she said it, he felt like throwing up. Emma excused herself to take a shower as she walked away, humming to herself. Liam just sat there, still silent, boiling. He opened his phone and stared at a blank note, then slowly typed, "Emma, pregnant. I'm sterile, need answers." Then he erased it. He wasn't ready to confront her yet, not without proof, not when she was smiling like that, not when she believed, truly believed, that he didn't know. And then, just as he stood up to go to the bedroom, something caught his eye. Emma's purse, slightly open on the table. A piece of paper was sticking out. He reached for it slowly. It was a folded receipt, a gas station transaction, nothing unusual, until he saw the date and time. 3 weeks ago, 2:13 a.m. Emma had told him she was asleep by midnight that night. He remembered because she had texted, "Too tired to talk. Long day. Love you." But this receipt said otherwise, paid in cash at a gas station 40 minutes from their home in the direction of Daniel's apartment. Liam stared at it, and for the first time since hearing the words "I'm pregnant," he smiled, not out of joy but because he had just found the first crack in her story, and he was going to break it wide open. Liam waited until Emma left for work the next morning. She kissed him on the cheek, holding her coffee and humming a tune from the shower, her hair still damp, her smile too wide. He smiled back, just enough, then closed the door and locked it behind her. He turned, exhaled, and whispered, "Okay." It was time. The first place he went was her laptop. She never logged out. Liam had never invaded her privacy before. But that was before the pink test, before the midnight receipt. He opened her browser, nothing strange at first, just Pinterest boards of baby room ideas. A Target registry in progress, a few medical pages, but then he checked her email. In the trash, he found something. An email thread between Emma and a contact listed only as D. The subject line was "Empty the body," just one sentence. "You should have deleted the photo. What if he sees it?" Liam's blood turned to ice. He clicked the attachment. It had been deleted from the thread, but not from the Cloud One file remained. His hands shook as he opened it. It was a photo, Emma in the passenger seat of a car. The angle was awkward. Like a quick snap, she was laughing. Head tilted, hand resting gently on someone else's wrist. A man's wrist. That wasn't Liam's wrist, and the dashboard in the background wasn't his car, it was Daniel's. Liam knew it by heart. He had helped him install the stereo system. He stepped back from the screen, breath short, but he couldn't stop there. He picked up Emma's phone from the kitchen counter. She never used a password. Said it was pointless between us. Liam unlocked it easily. Messages had been wiped, no conversations with Daniel in the last 3 weeks, but when he opened her notes app, one of them stood out. It was titled, "Cover Story, July 8. Liam tapped it. Inside was a list. Say I was at Sarah's. Mention I felt sick that day. Say we didn't even do anything. He won't question it. Just act tired." He stared at the screen in disbelief. It wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't even an affair anymore. This was premeditated deception. She had practiced planned written scripts, and she had gotten away with it because he had trusted her. But now, Liam had something more valuable than anger, silence, control. And just as he was putting her phone back, something else caught his eye. In the deleted messages folder, one contact was marked with a locked lock emoji. He opened the conversation. There were only fragments. Emma had wiped most of them, but the last one hadn't been deleted fully. It was a voice memo. He played it. Emma's voice, low and shaky, whispered, "I know it's wrong. I know it's yours. I can't tell him. Not after everything. I can't lose both of you." "Both of you?" Liam paused. The audio replayed it. "I can't lose both of you. Not just Daniel?" Who was the second person she was afraid of losing? And in that moment, something cracked wide open. Maybe this wasn't just an affair. Maybe it was deeper, worse, darker. And Liam had no idea what was really coming next. Liam called Daniel the next morning, his voice light, casual. "Hey man, it's been a while. You free to grab a drink tonight?" Daniel hesitated for a second, too long, then said, "Yeah, sure. Everything okay?" Liam laughed. "Yeah, just want to catch up." It was the first time in years Liam had lied to Daniel. They met at a quiet pub around 8 p.m. Liam arrived early and picked a corner booth, where no one would overhear them. He brought a small voice recorder in his pocket, just in case, not because he planned anything, but because he didn't trust anyone anymore. Daniel arrived 10 minutes later, looking tired. His hair was messy, and his eyes darted around like he hadn't slept. Liam stood and hugged him like nothing was wrong. "Been too long." "Huh?" Daniel forced a smile. "Yeah, you look good." They ordered beers, talked about work, about football, about the weather. Anything but what really mattered. Then, after a pause, Liam leaned forward. "So," he began, "Emma's pregnant." Daniel blinked hard. Then he laughed. Too loudly. Too suddenly, oh wow, man. Wow, congrats. When did you find out? Liam watched him carefully. He noticed the twitch in his left eye, the way he gripped the beer glass a little tighter. Yesterday, Liam said. She told me after work. Totally shocked me. Daniel nodded slowly. His eyes shifted to the table. Yeah. That's crazy, man. After all this time. Liam tilted his head. What do you mean? Daniel hesitated. You guys weren't really trying anymore, right? That was it, the slip, the signal. Liam never told anyone. Not even Daniel. That he was sterile, never told anyone they had stopped trying. But Daniel knew, and Liam saw it, felt it. That split second of guilt behind the smile. Daniel sipped his beer. Hey, miracles happen, right? He tried to chuckle, but it sounded like a cough. Liam smiled gently. Yeah, but I don't believe in miracles anymore. He looked Daniel right in the eye. But I do believe in science. Daniel froze. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Liam changed the subject again on purpose. He didn't need to hear a confession tonight. He just needed confirmation. And he got it. When they left the bar an hour later, Daniel reached out and patted Liam's shoulder. "You're a good guy, man," he said quietly. "You don't deserve to be hurt." Liam nodded, then leaned in and whispered something back. "I know everything, Daniel." Daniel's face drained of color, but Liam didn't give him time to speak. He walked to his car, started the engine, and drove off. He didn't even look in the rearview mirror. But the twist came the next morning. Liam opened his email and found something new in his inbox. An anonymous message, no subject, no name. Just one sentence. "You're watching the wrong person," and a single image attachment. Liam opened it, and what he saw wasn't Daniel, wasn't Emma. It was a photo of another man. Older, wearing scrubs, smiling in a selfie with Emma the background. A hospital room. Time-stamped 7 months ago. Liam sat in his car for nearly an hour, staring at the photo. The man in the image wasn't Daniel. He wasn't even someone Liam recognized, but Emma's expression. Soft, warm, almost glowing. Said everything. It wasn't a casual selfie. It was intimate, too intimate. The timestamp haunted him 7 months ago, right around the time she told him she was going to see a specialist for her migraines. Now he wondered if that specialist was the man in the photo. And suddenly, a terrifying thought struck him. What if the baby wasn't even Daniel's? What if the truth was worse? Liam realized something else. He didn't just want answers anymore. He wanted proof, undeniable, scientific, irrefutable proof. So he made a plan. The next morning, he told Emma he wanted to be more involved in the pregnancy. "I know I've been distant," he said softly, "but I'm coming around. I want to do this right." Emma looked at him with surprise, and maybe a hint of guilt. Then she smiled. "That means a lot to me." Liam offered to take her to her next prenatal appointment. She agreed. At the clinic, he watched closely as the nurse took her blood. He asked innocent questions, played the concerned husband, and when Emma left to use the restroom, he slipped the nurse a folded note. It read, "Please run a secret paternity test. She doesn't know. I'll pay anything. Here's my number." That night, Liam went online and ordered a cheek swab DNA kit. He used one of Emma's water glasses from the sink. Handled only by her, rim-coated in lipstick, he carefully sealed it and mailed it to a second lab for comparison. He didn't trust one answer, he needed two. The waiting days were slow torture. He still smiled at Emma, still pretended to rub her back while she slept, but his stomach turned every time he touched her. On the 6th night, his phone vibrated at 3:17 a.m. Results ready. Liam got out of bed silently and went into the kitchen. He opened the email, clicked the link, entered the security code. The screen loaded. Probability of paternity, 0 to 0%. He sat there frozen, breathless. But he didn't feel shock, not this time. He felt clarity, cold, clean clarity. He wasn't the father. He had known it. Now it was official. But before he could close the tab, another message came in from a different email address. Subject line, "Since you like secrets." Liam opened it. No text, only an attachment, a video file. He hesitated, heart pounding, then hit play. The footage was grainy, shot through a hospital security camera. Emma, the same man from the photo, only now Liam could read his name tag clearly. Dr. Benjamin Cole, fertility specialist. In the video, Emma handed Dr. Cole a sealed envelope. He hugged her and said, loud enough for the mic to pick up, "Don't worry. It's all taken care of. No one will ever know." Emma smiled and whispered something in return. The video ended. Liam stared at the screen. Fertility specialist? Envelope? Suddenly, everything tilted. What if this wasn't a regular affair? What if Emma hadn't accidentally gotten pregnant with another man? What if she planned it? Liam didn't sleep after watching the video. He sat in the kitchen, staring at the paused frame of Emma and Dr. Benjamin Cole hugging in that sterile, dimly lit hallway. He rewound it again and again. Her smile, his voice. It's all taken care of. No one will ever know. What had he taken care of? And what was in that envelope? This wasn't just about cheating anymore. This was planned deception. Coordinated. Rehearsed. A pregnancy designed behind his back. But why? The next morning, Liam played along. He brought Emma breakfast in bed. She kissed his cheek. "Who is this amazing husband, and what have you done with Liam?" He smiled, but inside, he was unraveling. Later that day, he received a second DNA report from the alternate lab. He didn't expect anything different, but he needed confirmation. He opened the file. Paternity. 0-00% genetic father match. Unavailable. Donor ID encrypted. Donor? Liam's stomach flipped. He scanned the fine print. Apparently, the fetal DNA had markers that matched standard donor registry profiles. This wasn't just a one-night stand. This was an insemination. Liam's heart pounded. He felt like the floor had disappeared beneath him. Emma hadn't cheated on him the way he thought. She had gone to a fertility clinic. She had used a donor behind his back without his consent, without even telling him about it afterward, and then had the audacity to pretend it was his. He felt sick. He grabbed his keys and drove straight to the clinic address listed on the lab report. Dr. Cole's private fertility center. It was small, modern, clean. He walked in and told the receptionist he was there for a consultation. 30 minutes later, Dr. Cole walked into the office, smiling. He didn't recognize Liam. "Hi there. What brings you in today?" Liam stared at him. "Actually, I think you already know my wife, Emma Summers." Dr. Cole paused. His smile faltered for just a second, then came back, thinner this time. "I'm sorry. I can't discuss other patients. I'm not asking for info." Liam said, "I'm just letting you know I know everything." Cole folded his hands. "I see." Liam leaned in. "You helped my wife get pregnant. Using a donor, without my knowledge." The doctor didn't deny it. Instead, he asked calmly, "And what do you plan to do with that information?" Liam's mouth opened, but no words came. He hadn't thought that far ahead. He came for answers, not revenge. And then Dr. Cole stood up and walked to a locked cabinet behind his desk. He opened it, pulled out a file, and placed it on the table. "This is why she came here," he said. Liam stared at the folder. Inside were forms, signed by Emma, consent forms, application documents, and a note, handwritten, from Emma. "Liam doesn't need to know. He's been through enough. He'll love the baby either way. I just want a piece of him to survive, even if it's not real." What? Liam read it again. Even if it's not real. And then it hit him. Emma knew about the sterility. She had known the whole time, and still went behind his back, still lied, still tried to replace the truth with an illusion, a child built on pity, a child she thought would fix him. But then, Cole tapped the folder again. "There's something else you should see." He handed Liam a sealed document, a second consent form. This one wasn't about donor sperm, it was about egg selection, and on it, the donor ID number for the egg was filled in too. Liam's hands went cold. He looked up slowly. "What are you saying?" Dr. Cole's face was unreadable. "She used donor egg and sperm. It's not her child either." Silence. The air in the room collapsed. Liam's ears rang. "The baby? Wasn't his, wasn't hers, was no one's. Just a project, an experiment in love, guilt, and control. Emma had lied not just to him, but to herself. Liam walked out of Derek Cole's office with the folder tucked under his arm and 1,000 volts of silence inside his chest. The city outside felt fake, too bright, too clean. He drove home in silence, didn't even turn the radio on. He wasn't angry. He wasn't crying. He was awake. Emma had chosen to build a life out of a lie, not because she cheated, not because she slipped, but because she believed she knew better, because she thought she could replace truth with control. But Liam wasn't going to confront her, not yet. He wanted her to believe it was working. He wanted her to get comfortable. So when he walked through the front door, he smiled. "Hey, honey," he said. Voice smooth. Emma looked up from the couch and smiled back. "Surprised you're home early?" "Yeah," he said, dropping his keys casually. "Thought we could celebrate. I made a reservation for dinner." Emma's eyes lit up. "You did?" "Of course," Liam said. "I've been thinking. Maybe this is what we needed." He kissed her forehead, and something in her relaxed. She leaned into the kiss like it was real. He was going to let her build the fantasy, and then, when the time was right, burn it down. That week, Liam was perfect. He helped repaint the guest room. He bought parenting books. He even went with her to shop for baby clothes, letting her hold onesies up to her stomach and giggle. He took selfies with her, smiled on command, posted them with captions like, "Can't wait to meet you. Little one red heart." And every time she wasn't looking, he was collecting screenshots, emails, medical papers, all of it, organized in a folder titled Baby Joy. But the real name of the folder, it was encrypted, called Funeral. Because to Liam, this wasn't a baby announcement. It was the death of their marriage. And then, something happened he wasn't prepared for. On Thursday afternoon, Emma got a call. He watched her take it in the kitchen. She looked pale, her hand trembled slightly. "Who was that?" he asked, stepping in with casual concern. She smiled too quickly. "Just work stuff. Boring." But her voice was off, shaky. That night, while she slept, he unlocked her phone again. She had deleted the call log, but she missed something. In her notes app, Liam found a new note at the top. It was one word. Clinic called wrong embryo. Liam froze. He reread it again. Wrong embryo? He sat down slowly on the edge of the bed. Was it possible? He opened his laptop and searched Derek Cole's clinic again. This time, he dove into forum posts, medical reviews, whistleblower comments, and then he found it, a thread, buried deep, titled, "Cole Fertility Lawsuit Embryo Mix-Up Cover-Up." Inside were 3 posts from anonymous users. One wrote, "Our baby doesn't look like either of us. DNA test says neither parent matches. We were told it was a lab error. Clinic offered money to stay quiet." Liam stared at the screen, mouth dry. His baby, Emma's baby, might not even be theirs at all. Not donor conceived. Stolen. Emma's birthday was coming up. She wanted something small and cozy, just a few close friends, a dinner at home, nothing fancy. Liam said yes, of course. He even offered to cook, ordered candles, got her favorite red velvet cake. He invited Daniel, Emma's mom, 2 of her coworkers. All of them still thought Liam and Emma were the picture of a perfect couple. That was what made it so perfect. The morning of her birthday, Liam left a bouquet by her bedside. She cried when she saw it. He kissed her on the forehead, whispered, "Tonight's going to be unforgettable." She had no idea. By 7 p.m. The house was glowing with warm light and soft jazz playing in the background. Emma wore a pale blue maternity dress. Hugging her slight bump, everyone congratulated her. She laughed, radiated joy. Liam moved through the evening like a shadow, pouring drinks, smiling, helping serve food, but behind the scenes, he was watching the time. At exactly 8:23 p.m. Liam clinked his glass and cleared his throat. "Before we do cake," he said, "I have a little surprise for Emma." She blinked, smiled, a little suspicious, a little nervous. "Okay," she said with a laugh. "I made a video." Liam continued, "Something personal, something honest." The room quieted. People smiled. Phones came out. They expected a sweet montage, photos, memories, music. Liam dimmed the lights and hit play. The screen lit up, but it didn't show a wedding photo, it didn't show vacation clips. Instead, it showed the DNA test result clear, bold, undeniable. Paternity. 0-00% father. Excluded. Gasps, a murmur ran through the room. Emma's smile vanished. What is this? She said, her voice thin. Then came the next slide. Audio recording Emma's voice. Whispering, he doesn't need to know. I just want a piece of him to survive, even if it's not real. She stood up. Panicked Liam. Turn it off. But it kept going. Security footage from Dr. Cole's clinic, her hugging him, the voice. It's all taken care of. No one will ever know. The room was silent. Daniel looked frozen. Her mother covered her mouth. Liam let the silence breathe. Let the collapse begin. Emma started crying. Please. Stop. This isn't fair. He stepped forward. Fair? He looked around the room. She lied. Not just to me, but to all of you. This baby, he pointed at her stomach, was manufactured, bought. Not hers, not mine, and maybe not even legal. Then, a knock at the door. Everyone turned. Emma's eyes widened. No. She whispered, no, no. Liam opened the door. Two people entered, a woman and a man, older, quiet. The woman clutched a folder. She looked directly at Emma. I believe you have our child. The room went silent. Emma stood frozen, eyes locked on the woman in the doorway. The woman's voice trembled, but her eyes were steady. My name is Claire Monroe. This is my husband, David. We were patients at Dr. Cole's clinic 8 months ago. Emma backed up slowly. No, she whispered, that's not possible. Claire stepped forward, holding out a folder. This is our signed agreement. Our embryo transfer, our timeline, our baby. The silence in the living room shattered like glass. Gasps, chairs scraping. Emma's mother covered her mouth again. Daniel whispered, what the hell is going on? Liam didn't speak. He didn't need to. Emma clutched her stomach. Tears were falling now. Not the performative ones. These were different. These were terrified. I didn't know. She said, I didn't mean for this to happen. Claire opened the folder and pulled out a single photo. It was an ultrasound. The same date as Emma's. Same measurement, same position, same baby. This isn't just some error, Claire said, voice shaking. You stole our child. Emma broke. I was desperate. Liam couldn't. He's sterile. I thought maybe if we looked like a family, he'd stay. That he'd love me again. She turned to Liam, her voice rising. I did it for us. Liam stared at her like a stranger. You didn't do it for us. You did it for you? You turned motherhood into manipulation. Emma's legs gave out, and she collapsed to the floor, sobbing. Everyone was watching now. No one moved. Claire turned to Liam. We've been looking for months, she said softly after the clinic ghosted us. We knew something was wrong. We hired someone. Tracked the embryo's genetic match, and it led us here. Liam nodded slowly. I believe you. David stepped forward. His voice was deeper, measured. We're not here to fight tonight. But this isn't over. There will be lawyers, investigations. DNA will confirm it. Emma covered her ears, sobbing louder. No, no, no. Claire took one last look at her, then turned and left. David followed. The door clicked shut behind them, and in the wreckage of that moment, Liam looked around. No one clapped, no one spoke. Daniel stood by the wall, pale and stunned. Emma's mother quietly left the room. And Emma? Still on the floor, still crying, but something in her eyes had changed. Not regret, not guilt. Rage. Liam saw it for just a second, and that's when he realized Emma hadn't hit rock bottom yet. She was going to do something, and whatever it was, it wasn't over. Not even close. Liam didn't sleep that night. Not a minute. The guests had left. The living room was a graveyard of confetti and half-drunk wine glasses. Emma hadn't spoken since she collapsed. She locked herself in the bathroom for over an hour. When she came out, her face was blank, emotionless. She didn't cry anymore, she didn't plead. She just stared at Liam like a woman who had lost everything. But Liam knew better. He'd seen that look before. Once, in the mirror. It wasn't grief. It was calculation. For the next few days, everything was quiet, too quiet. Emma barely ate, barely moved. Liam waited. He knew something was coming. He just didn't expect how fast. On the fifth morning, Liam received a call from his lawyer. "I think you need to see something," he said. The email came through 5 minutes later. Attached was a copy of a legal petition filed by Emma. It claimed mental cruelty, abandonment, and emotional sabotage. It stated that Liam had orchestrated a public humiliation campaign to destroy her reputation. It requested full custody of the unborn child and financial compensation. Liam stared at the screen. He should have been furious. Instead, he laughed. A dry, quiet laugh that echoed in the empty kitchen. She was trying to flip it, rewrite the story, make herself the victim again. But Liam was ready. He called his lawyer, gathered everything, the DNA tests, the footage, the signed fertility documents, the conversation with Claire Monroe. He was prepared to go to war. But the war never came, because something happened that no one saw coming. 3 days before the court date, Liam came home and found Emma sitting at the dining table. She was calm, poised, her phone in her hand. "I want to talk," she said softly. Liam sat across from her. He didn't say a word. She took a deep breath. "I lied," she said, "but not about what you think." Liam raised an eyebrow. Emma slid her phone across the table. A video was playing. It was security camera footage, but not from the clinic, from their home. It showed Liam, 3 months ago, in the living room reading a letter, looking pale, tearing it up. Emma's voice narrated in the background. "That letter. It was from the lab. It said your sterility report may have been an error, that a technician had tampered with multiple files during a hacking incident. The letter offered a retest, free of charge." Liam blinked. Emma continued, "You never told me. You never retested. You assumed. And so did I." He stared at the screen. No, it couldn't be." Emma pulled another envelope from her purse. "After everything, I wanted to be sure." She slid it across the table. A new DNA report, from a third lab, independent certified. Liam opened it, hands trembling, and there it was. Paternity. 99.9% biological father. Liam Summers. Silence. Liam's throat closed. He couldn't breathe. The baby was his. Emma stood slowly. "I didn't steal anyone's child. The embryo transfer wasn't wrong. The clinic was covering for something else." Liam couldn't speak. He couldn't move. "I only went to Dr. Cole because I thought I couldn't tell you," she said, "because I thought you'd already given up." Tears streamed down Liam's face. Not because he was happy, but because everything he did, the exposure, the humiliation, the divorce, was built on a lie. His own. Emma turned to leave. She paused at the door. "You were right, Liam," she said. "This baby was made from deception." She touched her stomach. "But not mine." And then she was gone.